Musiker-Board, good morning.
Morning.
Andy, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you after that kind of year of break. We didn't chat with each other.
Yeah, it's
because
true.
you have been busy
We've been
doing
making
something new.
We've been very busy. We've been very busy, actually.
Okay. I think one portion we already kind of heard because you were trying to make sure you play kind of every note that is in the frequency range. and it got more balanced.
Yeah. Okay. This is a particularly exciting year for us because these guitars that we're first unveiling here at the Winter NAMM, I've been working on these for the last 4 years.
Okay.
Okay. It started as a sort of a quiet secret project. Right after we launched our 800 series guitars, I came back to the shop and thought, well, wow, we just did everything that we could do to make these guitars better. Now what?
Now what? Yeah.
Like,
are we
okay,
done?
no, I'm not dead yet. So,
Right.
so I thought, okay, well, I guess the only way that I'm going to really get more out of a guitar, because I'm still not completely satisfied, I need to go even further back and ask what an acoustic guitar is. How does it make sound in the first place?
Yeah.
Like, there are some basic constraints with a conventional flat top steel string guitar that a builder faces, and that frustrates me. Okay, so what I wanted to do...
Is frustration the only motivation you get, or is there more?
No, it's really the motivation is that I do truly believe that musicians and the creativity that they pursue, the beauty that they make, I think those are good things.
Of
And I
course.
think the world needs more of that.
Yeah.
And so as a
definitely.
guitar builder, what I'm looking for is an instrument that gives more to a musician. I want them to be encouraged to make their music.
Okay.
So I want to give them an instrument that doesn't constrain them in any way.
Okay.
Something that encourages their creativity. You think of Leo Fender designing a Stratocaster.
Yeah.
You go, well, I'm pretty sure that Jimi Hendrix was not what he had in mind.
Probably not.
But
Considering the clean amplification that he brought with it in the first place.
yeah, but boy, I sure am glad that he made that thing so we could listen to what Jimmy and a bunch of other creative musicians have done with it.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the mentality that I'm looking for, is that I want musicians to approach these instruments with that beauty in mind,
Okay.
you know? So I always want to do a better job than what we've done. So the way that I went about this was I thought, okay, well, if I have some constraints and I know what they are, let me see if I can get around them in a different way. And in that case, it meant doing away with all of the acoustic guitars conventions.
It's kind of leaving the box.
Yeah, it's
Look from
leaving
the
the box
outside.
entirely. It's almost like you have this box that you've kind of worked in and tried to tweak and make good, and finally you just stomp on it. You know, you kind of just smash it and go, okay, enough of that. I'm going to try something totally different.
Yeah.
Because what we find is that there's some physical characteristics that you want an instrument to have, and usually you have to balance them.
Yeah.
Okay, one of them would be the rigidity or the strength of a design. Okay, so you think of a Les Paul and you think of how physically strong that thing is. That contributes to long sustaining notes.
Yeah, but and on the other side, how easy it is to break a headstock on them.
Well, there's that. There is that. But the idea is that you could take something like a lap steel or an electric guitar and go, man, these sustain for a long time because they're so rigid.
Yeah.
Well, that's like one end of a spectrum. The other end would be, where does volume come from?
Yeah.
Well, that comes from flexibility, because you need something very flexible to set air in motion,
Yeah.
and that air pressure is what we perceive as volume.
Yeah.
So if this was like strength and sustain being on one end of a continuum, you could put flexibility and volume on the other end. So you think of a banjo on this end.
And then you kind of find a compromise somewhere in between.
That's traditionally what
That's
guitar
what
makers
happens,
do.
yeah.
You just find a spot in the middle where you're going to compromise it. I didn't like that. So what I wanted to do was build a guitar where I could have volume and sustain.
And sustain, okay.
So I designed this different way to construct the guitar that allows it to be very strong for these long-lasting notes and flexible with this controlled flexibility.
Okay.
What started to really excite me, though, is when I was building this first guitar, I realized my gosh, this is actually going to do what I think it's going to do. And if that's true, then it would allow me to do all these other things. Like I've changed the intonation of the guitar, not by changing the string compensation,
No.
by moving a nut or a saddle or anything like that. It's actually done by building such a different structure in the guitar itself
Okay.
that this guitar body is a perfectly fluent translator of every note that I play.
Yeah.
So when I play even very simple triads, every note will hit us as perfectly in tune.
Yeah.
There's no beating. Over the entire guitar's register, like over 4.5 octaves, it's perfectly in tune everywhere,
Yeah.
to a level that we've never really experienced in the guitar world.
Yeah. True.
So it becomes this very interesting construction method. It's almost a concept where you go, wow, well, now I have an acoustic guitar that has a more usable register everywhere, longer sustain, more volume, better carrying power, better projection, all these unique qualities that make this just a more usable creative instrument for musicians.
True. You had to tweak your mindset only for that, or is there also technology involved that enabled it?
It's almost entirely traditional guitar making,
Okay.
but in a completely different way. It's a different form.
Different
It's something
mindset.
we call V-class bracing.
Yeah.
It's essentially a different internal architecture.
Mhm.
And by doing that, it makes this almost broadband version of a guitar. So it's a really exciting thing because it's been several years in the works.
Yeah.
Now I built this first guitar and it felt like, I think I just opened Pandora's box. I'm not sure what to do now because I have this guitar that just, this is a whole different world. It's like the first page of chapter 2,
Yeah, and like last year in April, somewhere in that corner, I received a 618,
Yeah.
which I think is a grand piano already,
Yeah.
because it has a very balanced range, no mids pointing out or no harshness in there.
Yeah.
But this obviously seems to be the next level up again.
This is kind of the next level up. So in this particular case, what the guitar that I'm holding is called a Builder's Reserve or a Builder's Edition. It's kind of like the director's cut of this
Okay.
new idea. So when I think of how you make a guitar better, it comes in 2 forms. One is you can make it sound better.
Yeah.
Second is you can make it feel better.
All right.
So we've made the guitar sound better,
Okay.
but second, I want to make it feel better. I
Feel
want it
better
to be
as well.
approachable.
Okay.
So yeah, we've seen a
With the
feature like
armrest
this.
again, yeah.
But now all of the edges of the guitar, it
Oh,
has a
cornered.
totally different edge profile. It's a different edge treatment where all the corners are rounded off. They're all chamfered away.
Okay.
But then we have something like this.
Okay.
It's almost like a fretting hand version of this armrest.
Yeah.
So that plus this uniquely contoured heel, where the whole corner of the body is gone.
Okay.
Now I can get all the way to the end of the fingerboard and still get my thumb around the neck.
Yeah.
So now there's no transition between that and that. So the whole thing just became this real approachable, real friendly kind of instrument
Okay.
with this amazingly expressive dynamic range.
Which is good to know, because for now, the everything I've seen was just the V-bracing as the key point.
Yeah.
But there's more to work on the guitar.
There's a whole big long roadway ahead of us. It's a real exciting path to set out on.
Cool. You're gonna keep it as an option and keep the other traditional styles
For
as well,
now-
because it's kind of if you like, now you can say if you want all of the EQ setting, buy the new V-bracing. If you want a mid-punch, perhaps stay with this model.
Yeah, it'll be a different sort of thing because we realize that the more of these guitars that I've built, this is almost like a new sonic engine or a new operating system
Okay.
to build a guitar with. So it can be tweaked in a lot of different ways. It can
Okay.
be flavored in a lot of different sonorities. But this has such a fluid dynamic response. It accentuates the uniqueness of the tone woods, of the body style, of the building style.
Okay.
So what we'll see is over the course of the coming year, weeks, months, 2 years, this method of building a guitar will permeate the rest of our line.
Okay. So, thank you for the insight,
Yeah,
information.
my pleasure.
Some more tones to get us
Sure.
out of here, and then a very successful NAMM with the new ideas.
Thank you.
The news from Taylor, NAMM 2018. See you, Musiker-Board. Thank you, Andy.
It's my pleasure.